New tonight, Ukraine has blown up the Kerch Bridge linking Crimea to Russia, damaging its underwater supports. Ukraine's security service claimed responsibility for the attack. The bridge was heavily defended. This follows Russia also accusing Ukraine of bombing railway bridges and causing deadly train crashes that killed 7 and injured over 100. Also new tonight, a Russian rocket attack on the Ukrainian city of Sumy has killed 4 and injured 25. The strikes hit apartment buildings and a medical facility. President Zelensky condemned the attack, saying it proves Moscow isn't serious about peace, despite recent talks in Istanbul. In Gaza, thousands of Palestinians were forced to flee today in southern Gaza after the Israeli army told them to evacuate. The war refugees said that these constant evacuations feel like they're unbearable torment and that they're worn out. Since October 2023, about 90% of Gaza's people have been forced to leave their homes. Palestinian officials say that Israeli forces fired on people headed toward an aid distribution site in Gaza, killing at least 27. It is the third such incident in 3 days. Meanwhile, Israel is mourning the death of 3 soldiers killed in Gaza. Fox's Trey Yinks has more from Tel Aviv.
Family members of Palestinians killed by Israeli bullets weep over the bodies of their loved ones. Israeli soldiers fired on dozens of people who were just over a quarter mile from an aid distribution site. Asked about the shooting, the Israeli military said, quote, "The IDF is aware of reports regarding casualties, and the details of the incident are being looked into." The military confirmed firing on these Palestinians and says that they had deviated from a designated route. A spokesman for Israel's prime minister confirmed the incident took place before claiming without evidence that the IDF did not fire at civilians near the aid distribution zones.
Israel is not preventing Gazans from accessing humanitarian aid, and the IDF did not fire at civilians in or near aid distribution zones.
All of the injured were of different ages. The majority were young men in civilian clothing and included children and women.
The latest incident comes as Israeli soldiers are expanding ground operations against Hamas. Over the weekend, 3 Israeli soldiers were killed by a roadside bomb that Hamas planted in northern Gaza. The Trump administration is calling for a diplomatic solution to end the ongoing war, stop the suffering of Palestinian civilians, and bring the remaining hostages held by Hamas home.
These are imperfect situations for catastrophic areas where the rest of the world has wanted this to be done. We have to try, and that's what they're doing.
So far, diplomatic efforts to reach a ceasefire have failed. Both Israel and Hamas have agreed to a deal, but they're looking at different agreements. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yinks, Fox News.
New tonight, Greta Thunberg is sailing to Gaza with supplies and a message. The 22-year-old Swedish activist and 11 others left Italy Sunday with baby formula, medical kits, and water purification tools. Thunberg called the situation in Gaza a genocide and urged action where governments have failed. Israel's defense minister ordered the activist boats to be seized upon arrival and instead used to evacuate Gaza refugees who want to leave voluntarily.